Wife invited her affair partner to our anniversary, called him babe in front of our kids, so I filed for divorce immediately. I'm a 37-year-old man who has been married to my wife, now 35, for 15 years. We have 2 kids, 13 and 10, and last month, we planned a small wedding anniversary celebration at home with our children and a few close friends. I was genuinely looking forward to commemorating all our years together, and I had lined up a thoughtful gift and an intimate evening, but I had no idea that my wife was planning something behind my back. The night started off well. We had dinner, cut the cake, shared smiles and laughter. I gave her my gift and she seemed happy, but I picked up on signs that something was off. She kept glancing at her phone, stepping out of the room with some excuse or another. I brushed it off, thinking maybe she was organizing a surprise for me. Then, at around 8 p.m., the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting deliveries or extra guests, so I thought maybe it was a neighbor. My wife jumped up immediately, more eager than I'd ever seen her, saying, "I'll get it." My curiosity piqued. I trailed behind, with the kids, who were always excited about mystery doorbell rings, close on my heels. My wife opened the door, and there a man stood, bouquet of flowers in one hand, a bottle of champagne in the other. He wore a polo shirt with a logo, looking for all the world like a legit delivery driver. I didn't recognize him at all. He grinned and announced, "Special delivery for the lovely couple. Happy anniversary." I thought for a moment that a friend had sent us an anniversary gift, or that my wife had organized a playful romantic gesture. But things took a sharp left. While handing over the flowers, the guy leaned in, dropped his voice, and said, "You look gorgeous tonight, babe." I was right behind my wife and heard every word. I immediately spoke up, "The F, babe? That's not something you're supposed to call a stranger, or a delivery client, certainly not in front of her husband and kids." My wife's cheeks reddened, not with pleasure but with that guilty, busted look. She let out an awkward, nervous laugh and cast quick, desperate glances at me and the kids. My 13-year-old's eyes popped wide. My 10-year-old whispered, "Did he just call mom babe?" I stepped up, keeping my voice as even as possible. "Excuse me, what did you just say?" I gave the guy a very pointed look. He acted surprised to see me, chuckled, and mumbled something about making sure I have the right address. The hot MILF at the door matched the description. Then, incredibly, he winked at my wife. Yes. He called my wife a hot MILF. Right in front of me. And our kids. I felt my blood pressure spike almost instantly. My kids heard everything. The whole scene was humiliating. My daughter blurted out, "Ew, what?" While my son stayed utterly bewildered, not knowing what MILF even meant. My wife snatched the champagne from him, voice tight but polite, "Thanks. That'll be all." She basically pushed him out the door, desperate to get him gone before he dug the hole any deeper. I stood there on the edge of exploding, trying to rein myself in for the kids' sake. The man gave a flippant wave as he left, tossing over his shoulder, "Enjoy, beautiful. See you around." Then he walked away down our drive. I just stood in the doorway, stunned, before closing the door and fixing my wife with a hard look. With the kids still right there, I tried for calm and said, "Why don't you two go enjoy the cake in the kitchen? We'll be right there." My daughter looked like she wanted to interrogate us both, but she shepherded her little brother away. With the foyer finally to ourselves, I turned to my wife. "What the hell was that about? Do you know that guy?" She fiddled excessively with the lock and kept her back to me. "It's nothing," she answered too quickly. "Just a delivery driver. Maybe had the wrong house or got too friendly, I guess. Let's not let this ruin our night." She tried to hurry past me, but I stopped her. "He called you babe and MILF. That's not normal delivery guy behavior. How would he even know you're a mom?" I whispered furiously, keeping my voice down with the kids just nearby. She crossed her arms and stared at the floor. "Maybe he's a creep," she muttered. "I didn't invite him if that's what you're thinking. He probably got the wrong address." Nothing she said made any sense. The guy had the right address, wished us happy anniversary, and brought exactly the right gifts. I pressed on. "Why did he say, 'See you around'? Why did you look like a deer in headlights when you opened the door?" Now, tears welled up in her eyes and she got defensive. I can't control what a delivery creep says. I was surprised too. Can we let this go and finish our night? I was suspicious, but for the kids' sake, I had to drop it. The rest of the evening was beyond awkward. I was withdrawn, she was rattled but pretending, and the kids obviously felt the discomfort. The celebration fizzled. We put the kids to bed and the moment we had privacy, I confronted her again. I told her outright, her story was impossible. A delivery guy showing up with tailored gifts at the perfect time, knowing to say happy anniversary, calling her babe and MILF, and acting like they'd met before? Either he was crazily bold or something else was happening. She clung to her lie, said maybe he was an unusually friendly driver, maybe drunk or high, that I was overreacting and ruining our anniversary with wild accusations. She cried, blaming me for destroying the day. I was gaslit and furious, barely able to speak. I ended up sleeping on the couch, too hurt to share the bed. The next morning, I was desperate for answers. I remembered the logo on the guy's polo, a local courier company. I called, pretending I had a delivery mix-up at my address the night before. A manager checked for me. There were no scheduled deliveries to our house, and no record of flowers or champagne coming from their service. The delivery wasn't random. The man was no courier. When my wife woke, I confronted her with the evidence. She tried to spin more lies. Oh, maybe it was a private service. But now, cornered, she finally relented. She admitted she knew him from work but tried to paint it like totally innocent. She'd asked him to surprise me with the gifts for our anniversary, posing as a delivery man. She claimed she thought it would be a cute gesture to make the evening extra special. I was stunned. How is having a guy call you babe and MILF in front of our children fun? I asked. She backpedaled hard, said she never expected him to say those things, that he went overboard, misunderstood her instructions. It didn't take much more pressing for the rest to come out. I asked her directly if this was the same guy she'd been guarding her phone about lately. She'd been texting constantly for months, which I'd chalked up to surprise planning. She fell silent, then broke down crying. She admitted she and this man, let's call him Jason, had caught feelings at work months ago, friends first, then flirty, then emotional and, according to her, not yet physical, though they were almost certainly on that path. They'd been texting, calling outside work. It was an emotional affair at the very least. I barely managed to get the words out. Why on earth did you invite him to our anniversary? Her answer cut me to the bone. She wanted to see us both together, to compare us. In her mind, seeing Jason and me in the same room might help her decide what she really wanted. She thought maybe I'd step up if I saw someone else was interested, that somehow this absurd triangle would rekindle our marriage or clarify her feelings. It was a honeypot experiment, in my own home, on my anniversary, with my wife's affair partner as the bait. For the kids to see, too. My head spun. I realized I was done. The shock of betrayal was immediate and total. She had brought another man into our home, involved our kids, and expected me to compete. That was a humiliation and a mind game beyond reconciliation. She sobbed, begged forgiveness, pleaded for time to fix things. But I had hit a breaking point, the kind that comes with perfect clarity rather than rage. I told her I'd be filing for divorce immediately. If Jason was such a great guy, she could have him, but I wasn't staying married to someone who disrespected me and our family this way, not for another second. She accused me of overreacting. I packed bags for myself and the kids and left for my brother's place. The kids knew there'd been a serious argument. I kept my explanation neutral, just said we needed some time apart. My daughter suspected the truth and texted her mom for details, getting only vague responses. First thing once the courthouse opened, I filed for divorce. There was no waiting, no doubt, no counseling, only relief that I saw things for what they were. Some friends and family insist I was too hasty. My own mother thought we might recover with therapy, marriage counseling, what have you. Mutual friends, confused by my wife's tale of a prank gone wrong, urged me to slow down. Every attempt to minimize the reality only made me angrier. My wife spun these as misunderstandings, but I knew the full story. I'm staying with my brother now, my kids beside me, doing my best to shield them from the fallout. My soon-to-be ex-wife keeps texting, apologies alternating with accusations that I gave up too easily, that I abandoned our family. I barely respond, limiting things strictly to co-parenting. Underneath the anger is a raw wound. But my focus is getting my kids and myself through this with dignity. Some might question why I didn't try to fix the marriage, why I walked the instant the truth came out. The answer is simple. She brought her affair partner into our marriage celebration. She humiliated me in front of our kids and turned our anniversary, a day built on trust, into a cruel competition. That's not something you work through. That's something you walk away from, no hesitation, because I deserve better, and so do our children. Update 1. After the anniversary night incident, when my wife's affair partner showed up at our door and humiliated me right in front of our kids, things didn't calm down. Instead, she's been busy spinning an entirely false narrative. She's trying to do damage control, and her way of handling it? She's telling anyone who will listen that the whole thing with the man at the door was just a colossal misunderstanding on my part. According to her, that guy was merely a confused delivery driver lost in the neighborhood, asking for directions. She wants people to believe I lost my mind over nothing, that I blew up because a stranger supposedly made an offhand joke. Supposedly, he said something like, "Oops, sorry babe, wrong house," and I, the insecure husband, instantly decided to divorce her for it. That's her version. I might have never known she was spreading this story if it weren't for her mom. My mother-in-law called me, sounding worried and a touch accusatory, wanting to know why I was breaking up our family over a mix-up with a delivery person. I was floored hearing this, so I asked her exactly what my wife had told her. That's when the full scope of her cover-up became clear. She told her parents, and maybe a lot more people, that the guy was delivering a gift, got the wrong house, and made a dumb joke, leaving out that she invited him, knew him intimately, and he propositioned her right in front of everyone. I calmly broke it down for my mother-in-law, told her, point blank, that the man was not some random stranger. He was my wife's affair partner, personally invited over. He wasn't lost, he was there for her, and said things no deliveryman would. My mother-in-law went silent, devastated, and ended up apologizing to me for her daughter's actions. It felt like some weird role reversal, her apologizing to me for something so intimate and gut-wrenching. But it didn't stop with her parents. My wife had told the same fantasy to mutual friends. Two close friends, a couple we've known for years, took me out for coffee. They tried to gently suggest I might be making a mistake. Maybe it really was a surprise gone wrong, just a prank. She'd convinced them nothing happened. I set the record straight, avoiding every sordid detail, but made it clear, it was cheating. She invited the man. There was no misunderstanding or innocent mistake. The worst part is, she's painting me as an unstable, jealous husband who destroyed our family over a petty misinterpretation. She's gaslighting everyone, and meanwhile, I have proof of exactly what happened. At this point, I don't care what everyone believes, but a few key people, our families, especially for the sake of my kids, deserve the truth. As for my kids, they're hanging in there, given everything that's happening around them. We've shielded them from as much of the drama as possible, but they're smart. My 13-year-old daughter especially isn't buying her mother's story. My wife even tried to pitch to the kids this tale about a silly delivery man coming to the wrong house, and that daddy overreacted. My daughter shut that down, telling her mother straight out she heard the man's words, both the babe and the hot mill comments. She even told her, "Mom, do you think I'm stupid? Delivery guys don't talk like that." I wasn't there for that exchange, but my wife angrily texted me later, blaming me for turning my daughter against her. I hugged my daughter tight that night and told her how proud I was of her for trusting herself. My 10-year-old son is more sheltered. I think he was just confused by what he heard that night, and all he knows is mom did something hurtful to dad. He doesn't have the details, and he shouldn't at his age, but even he sensed that the delivery guy wasn't acting normally. For now, I'm staying in our home with the kids while my wife has moved out to a coworker friend's place after I filed for divorce. I wasn't about to leave the kids home behind, they need stability. We've worked out a temporary week on, week off arrangement for the kids until the courts and lawyers formalize custody. When it's my wife's week, she comes back to the house with the kids, and I stay at my brother's. It's awkward, but it's what we have to do for now to keep things consistent for the children. The legal process has started. She was served with divorce papers and is furious. Her texts keep jumping between angry accusations of me giving up on us and desperate pleas to talk things out. I told her the time for talking was before she decided to pull this stunt, not now. My communication with her now is only about the kids and the necessary legal stuff. Emotionally, these past couple of weeks have been rough. The initial surge of adrenaline, anger, and disbelief has faded into a more sad, surreal numbness. Sometimes, I still find myself wondering if I was too quick to act. Then I remember how she invited him, planned the whole thing, and how she's now rewriting history and turning people against me. Any lingering sympathy I have turns icy when I see her doing this. It's crystal clear to me now, someone who truly regretted what she did would be honest, not broadcasting lies to defend her image. She cares about protecting herself, not about actually making amends. So at this point, my soon-to-be ex-wife is telling everyone a fairy tale about a confused delivery man while I focus on picking up the pieces and moving on. Update 2. After those first chaotic days, I finally got the ironclad proof I desperately needed. A few days after the whole mess initially erupted, I ran into Jason, the man my wife cheated with. It happened almost by chance, but if I'm honest I was hoping fate would hand me a confrontation one way or another. I was out with a couple of close friends, trying to decompress over a beer at our local bar. And who do I spot in the corner, shooting pool? Jason himself, laughing with his buddies like nothing ever happened. My heart started beating out of my chest. My friends immediately noticed how I stiffened up, and when I quietly told them who he was, one of them looked ready to charge over and start a fight. I reeled him back. I didn't want a bar brawl, I wanted answers, the truth, something I could hold on to. I decided to confront Jason face to face, but calmly. I wasn't going in unarmed, though. I switched on the voice recorder app on my phone before I walked over. In this world of shifting stories and outright lies, I wanted every word documented. With my friend a step behind me in case things went sideways, I walked up to the pool table. Jason saw me and for a brief flicker, I could see the recognition and discomfort in his eyes. Still, he didn't run, he just stood there, tense. I said, "Got a minute? We should talk." His friends were visibly bracing for a fight, but I kept myself steady. Jason nodded and followed me to a quieter corner by the bar. He beat me to it, saying, "Look, man, I don't want any trouble." I told him the truth, neither did I. I just wanted to hear it all, straight from him. I told him, "I know my wife invited you to that party. I know there's something else going on. I'm not here to swing at you, I just want the truth." I don't know if the beers in him loosened his tongue, or if he just wanted out from the middle, but he started talking, and he didn't hold back. I have the entire conversation saved. He admitted that yes, my wife had invited him to our house that night, telling him it was some open house, casual anniversary thing. She'd made it sound like it was normal for him to just show up, so her story about him being lost, just a random guest wandering into the wrong home? Complete fabrication. Even more, he told me he didn't realize that I was totally unaware of their relationship. According to him, my wife told him that we were basically over. In Jason's words, she told me you guys were pretty much done, like you were separated or she was going to leave. I figured you knew she had someone new, or you two had some kind of arrangement. I almost laughed out loud, not from amusement, but from the bitter recognition of my wife spinning stories to everyone around her. He described how my wife justified everything she was doing by telling him that she was about to walk away from her marriage because I never appreciated her. Hearing that stung more than I could put into words. Not only was she cheating, she was dragging my name through the dirt to make herself feel better about it. Jason apologized for calling my wife those names at the party and for doing it in front of our kids. He said it was a dumb, impulsive move he regretted immediately after. Then came the most important moment. I asked him, dead on, so, just to be 100% clear, she invited you expecting I'd see you? She told you she was ending our marriage? He nodded and replied, yes. She said she wanted me there because she was going to talk to you afterwards and end it. She thought having me around, even just for a few minutes, would give her confidence or something. She said you two were basically over. I'm sorry, man. He looked genuinely defeated, shrugging, probably not knowing what else to say. And honestly, what could he say? Instead of rage, I mostly felt a strange sense of relief mingled with sadness and anger. The truth was out. I thanked him for finally being honest. He looked surprised at how calm I was. I told him, look, I hate what happened between you and my wife, but she's the one who owed me loyalty, not you. At least you're owning up to it now. He nodded, looking ashamed, and said he felt awful about how it all went down. He even told me he was shocked when he heard I'd filed for divorce right away since my wife had apparently painted me as some cold, neglectful husband. The conversation lasted maybe 15 minutes. I walked back to my friends with the recording still going. When I played them the highlights, they just stared at me. One just gave me a bro hug and said, well, at least you have the truth, even if it's painful. I've since copied the recording, transcribed the key parts, and sent a copy to my lawyer for the divorce and custody case. I even played the most important sections for my in-laws, carefully omitting Jason's name to keep things civil. Watching their faces fall as they listened, then hearing them apologize for their daughter and promise to support me and the kids, it meant a lot. My relationship with them is still intact, and I'm relieved. They've been nothing but loving, involved grandparents, and none of this is their fault. As for my soon-to-be ex-wife, I haven't told her about the recording. She's still sticking to her story, claiming nothing happened, refusing to get into details except to plead with me to meet, talk, or reconsider. I have no intention of giving her what she wants. Now, my focus is my kids and the divorce. The closure feels good, but it's also devastating. The woman I spent 15 years with isn't the same person anymore. She's someone who lies, cheats, and then lies even more to cover her tracks. At least I can finally trust my own reality. It wasn't all in my head. The most important thing left is helping my kids through this as our community, their school, and mutual friends inevitably learn the truth. I've never told them about the affair or the recording. The last thing they need is more pain. I just reassure them that mom and dad both love them, but that we can't stay married because mom broke dad's trust. My daughter understands it on her level, and my son, in his own way, does too. It hurts, but at least now, with the proof in hand, I can help them, and myself, move forward. Update 3. I wish I could say that after everything, life settled into a new normal quietly, but there was one more ugly episode that changed everything for my children and me. This time, the fallout struck my kids directly, shattering whatever fragile bond remained between them and their mother. During one of my wife's custody days not long ago, she apparently decided it was time to set the record straight for our kids, from her twisted perspective. I only heard the full details after the fact, when my daughter came home visibly devastated. Here's what happened. According to my daughter, while they were visiting their mother's tiny rented apartment, my wife sat them down for a heart-to-heart. She started telling them that I had been very mean to her, pinning all the blame for the divorce and separation on me. She said, Daddy is mean to Mommy and Mommy has a friend from work who is a nicer man and just wants Mommy to be happy. The audacity. She literally introduced her affair partner to our children, a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, as a nicer man. She was trying, in pathetic fashion, to justify her betrayal by making me the villain who somehow pushed her into it. My daughter, as she later explained to me, saw straight through her lies. She told her mom, firmly and clearly, that she didn't want to hear another word. From my daughter's own account, she said, Mom, stop. We know you lied. We know that friend was the guy at the party. If you think he's so nice, go be with him. But don't expect us to approve or like him, and don't lie about Dad. He's not been mean to you. We were there. We've seen what really happened. My wife broke down, pleading for a hug and insisting my daughter didn't understand. But my daughter stepped back and responded, No, Mom. You don't understand. You broke Dad's heart and you hurt all of us. This is all on you. Meanwhile, my 10-year-old son couldn't bear to hear her badmouth me. He flat out refused to look at her and said, I want to go back to Dad's house now. When she tried to convince him to stay for dinner, he ignored her, packed his overnight bag, and waited for a way out. That evening, I started receiving a cascade of texts from my wife, though I missed them until later because I don't check my phone obsessively. She sent frantic messages, blaming me for turning the kids against her and asking if she could just drop them off at my place since they refused to speak to her. But before I even saw those texts, my daughter took matters into her own hands. She called my brother, their uncle, and asked him to come get them from their mom's apartment. My brother wasted no time, he picked them up and brought them straight home. When my children came back, they were angry and distraught. I did my best to comfort them. I reassured them that I loved them and apologized that they had to endure that ordeal. I tried to explain, as gently as possible, that their mom is struggling to accept responsibility for what she did and said some things that weren't true or fair. I made sure to tell them that it's okay to still love their mom, and I'd always support their relationship with her, but they never had to accept mistreatment or dishonesty, even from a parent. Since that day, neither child has wanted to return to my wife's place during her designated parenting time. We adjusted, she visits them at our house, under my supervision. Even then, it's tense and brief. The children do their duty, but then quickly find excuses to escape to their rooms or go outside. Their respect for their mother is clearly fractured, at least for now. My wife begged me to help her mend the relationship with our children. I was honest, that's her task, not mine. I encouraged basic respect, but told her I wouldn't force the kids to ignore what they experienced. She tried to blame me again, but the awful irony is that she caused this herself. I simply told the truth and protected the kids from the ugliest details. They figured out the rest on their own. Right now, my sole focus is on giving my kids the stable, loving home they need. I got them both into therapy, and I started attending myself, something I probably should have done from the very beginning. That has been helping, slowly, but it's a start. As for the marriage, it was obviously doomed from that point onward. A small update, it's now been a week since the divorce became official, 8 long months to finalize it. I have zero regrets about ending things immediately. Every twist since then has just reinforced that it was the right decision. My only focus now is being the best father I can be. My kids and I are okay. We have a lot of healing ahead of us, but we've got each other's backs. As for my ex, she made her choices. Whatever fulfillment she sought is no longer my concern. Strangely, she and Jason, the nicer man, aren't even together. Word is, he decided it was all too messy and walked away. All of that destruction, all the pain, amounted to nothing in the end. What a bitter waste.